Hello everybody, I'm Garrett, you're watching 11 Bang Bang. Today we have out the Rossi R95 and 4570. Pardon my voice a little bit, I'm getting over a bit of the flu and the cold, but I wanted to get out here and make this video. So what we're dealing with here is a copy of the Marlin 336 or the Marlin 1895. They're kind of the same thing. This one's made by Rossi and it's made by CBC in Brazil. And what you're dealing with here is kind of just a little less fit and finish of the Marlin 1895. My guess is with those cheap steel targets, these bullets are going to go right through them. Yes sir, I believe so. Little knockdown. Got knocked down. Now, one of the things that's going to be the big selling point though is this gun runs about $750 to $800. Whereas the Marlin guide gun is going to run you anywhere from $1,300 to $1,500. So it's a pretty good deal as far as savings go, and it is a very strong action. It's the same exact action as the Marlin 1895, meaning it can handle these tier 2 plus P rounds we're shooting today. Today we're shooting 450 grain bullets doing about 1,530 feet per second. And this is not going to be some kind of long range high accuracy gun that I'm not using it for that. It's not really a deer hunting gun for me, although it could be with the right bullet selection. What I got this gun for was for fishing trips in northern Wyoming and Montana that we plan on taking the next few years. What we want this for is a short sub 100 yard stopping rifle for big bear, and I think it's going to serve that purpose just fine. Without further ado, let's grab some of these big old 4570 pills. But first of all, I want to point out that we have a really large, compared to even Marlins and others, large opening on the loading port, which means you don't pinch your hand so bad. It's a lot wider, a lot easier to get them in there. And you just slide them in there, kind of stop, don't push them all the way, and it loads fairly easy. This particular 20-inch variation holds 6 in the tube and 1 in the chamber if you wanted to do it that way. Let's see if we can go all the way through the propane jug for once. Never been all the way through it yet. I believe that is the first time we've made it all the way through. And still have one more. Now I gotta pick up my brass. That did it. Finally all the way through that old propane jug, front to back. We've shot that thing with a lot of stuff that hasn't gone clear through. These are pretty good penetrating bullets. And you could push this 450 grain bullet all the way up to 1,700 feet per second if you wanted to. But I do believe at 1,530 feet per second, we are probably going to be able to penetrate stem to stern any living thing on the North American continent. So I don't think we need to get much more than we have right here, because that's a pretty nasty exit right there for a big 450 grain bullet. Like I said, 100 yard and sub 100 yard stopping rifle is what I wanted this gun for. And so we're gonna see what we can do out here to 100. Now, the thing is, and I'm gonna point this out, I am all the way up on my sight ladder. I have one more notch, but it's not even really a notch. And this gun at the bottom where it should be is shooting very low. And I think I know why that is. I see it on Marlins too. And several other guns. I think they sight these guns for 405 grain bullets that are doing about 1,200 feet per second. And what that means is the bullet comes out of the barrel slower, even though it's lighter than the bullet we're shooting now, and it comes out higher in the recoil impulse. And what that means is it shoots higher with those slower bullets. Once you put 300 plus feet per second more than 1,200, that bullet is getting out of the barrel almost before the recoil impulse can start, which makes it shoot lower. And I've seen that with several guns. I think they're sighted for the slower moving bullets. But this is a 100 yards right here, and I might wind up putting the Skinner's peep sight on there just to fix that. I don't know. Let's see what we can do at 100. Everything's been pretty good thus far. 6-inch plate. I think we took that bear down at 100. Should we try to move out to 350 and aim really high?
Shoot the next one. Yeah, the next one.
All right, well, I don't know exactly where to aim with these bullets at that range. I'm gonna assume about at the top of the crossbar.
Try holding right on him.
I think I hit the bar.
Yeah.
Lost my ear there. You wouldn't believe it. This high pressure round is kind of loud. Try to hold right on his head. You see him swinging out there. All right, so thus far, I am really impressed with this Rossi R95, even out to 300 plus yards. Now, if you look real close right here on all these guns, you're gonna see a safety. Not on this one, because I got the Ranger Point Precision safety delete before I ever put a round through this gun, and I put it in. It's right there. You can't even tell on either side that it was ever a safety, and that's good because I don't care for safeties on a lever gun. I've had them fail me before in the worst possible moments. One of these days we'll talk about the last Marlin that we purchased around here that was about in 2009. It was a disaster, a complete and utter disaster. But what do I think? Well, the wood is actually really nice for what it is. It's a, I think it's a Brazilian hardwood, but they have it stained into a fairly nice looking walnut looking stain. Now, this grip right here is not checkered, it's stippled. And I don't really care for that because it lets the yellow kind of shine through the stain, both here and here. However, there are aftermarket options for stocks already for this gun, just like there are for the safety and a whole lot of other stuff for it. Loads like a dream. I will say that having handled and shot a lot of both Winchester and Marlin, that lever, surprisingly, I know it's a Rossi. Nothing did I do in there. I haven't even taken this gun apart yet. It comes from the factory in the box, I think smoother than the Marlins. Now, where do you get the $500, $600, $700 more worth of money that you pay for in a Marlin? Well, you get it with the fit and finish and the just the name for one thing, but Ruger made Marlins are excellent in the fit and finish department nowadays. And there's one thing I really have to complain about, and it has nothing to do with the action. It's that Rossi puts a billboard on the left hand side of the receiver, whereas even like Marlin and Ruger put their markings down here on the lower pistol grip. When I first bought this gun, I ordered a Trapper model, which they sell, a large loop 16-inch barrel, and the company that I ordered it from, about a week after I'd already paid them, contacted me and said they were sold out of that particular model, and they apologized, and they told me that they would send me this gun free of shipping if I went with the 20-inch standard model. And at the time I was like, oh, well, you know, I really wanted the 16, but then I got to looking at it. I really like the lines of this 20-inch. It holds 6 instead of 5, and I think eventually I will be able to put the large loop on there. Now, you can't just put a Marlin large loop. They're not exactly the same. So we're gonna have to wait for Rossi to start putting out aftermarket parts. Ranger Point Precision does have a medium-sized loop out now, but it's kind of costly, and if I get a large loop, it's gonna be a large loop. 14-inch length of pull on this gun, which is a little long for me, but that recoil pads just drinks up the recoil from these 4570s, which isn't as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. It's about 33 foot-pounds of recoil with this load in this gun, which 30-06 is something like 28. So it's a little more than 30-06 full power, 200 grain loads, but the recoil is soaked up very well by that pad. The only problem some people are going to have with it is that it's a little long and that recoil pad is a little sticky. And on a stopping rifle that you want to be able to point quickly, which this does point quickly, you might want something that's not quite as grippy grabbing up there on your arm. Now, like I said, I may wind up getting a Skinner peep sight for this. I haven't decided yet. I've talked a lot to Plowboy's Ghost, and he really loves his. But one more thing I want to show you. There is also the Henry 4570 out there, which is basically just the same thing as this and the Marlin. And a lot of people will say you need to get the Henry because you want to be able to take that tube out so that you don't have to run all your rounds through the action to unload them. Well, I want to show you something right here. We're going to take and we're going to load up 3. Now, normally I would have to run on a lot of older guns, especially, you'd have to run those to the action and get them out. Let's just press in on the loading gate. Let's see if we can unload this gun not through the action itself. See if that's usually where you run into trouble, is on the last round. It's a little bit sticky there. There it is. But yeah, perfectly easy to unload the gun without running it through there. Now, nothing obviously against the tube and the Henry. It's just, I'm just saying that you don't have to have the tube come out in order to get the rounds out of the gun without running them through the action. All right, I got 3 rounds in here. Let's see if we can make the coffin dance. Well, we put a hole through that. Caleb's right, that's probably a little hot for those particular targets. Yeah, Benson. One more shot. Cowboy Bob's gonna die. Wow. I want you to come over here and take a look at what that does. I do believe if that had been the head of a Kodiak bear that was charging you at that range, that big 450 grain hard cast bullet, you'd have stopped him. All right, Caleb's gonna take a pop shot at the 150 yard 6-inch plate. I think you just went under it. I don't think you went under it that time. 350. Wow, you hit him. Boy, you murdered that long range target. What do you think?
Pretty sweet.
What do you think of the lever?
Pretty sweet.
30 yards. Of course, we killed them all with one shot, didn't we? Oh, I got 2 water bottles. We'll set those others up and try again. There's 1. 2. 1 down low. Let's see if we can get him hiding in the grass. We got him. What we got? 1 more round? We got 1 round here. Let's put it on the blue plate. It's pretty hard. It's gonna be loud. Hit him hard. Low. Just to the left. Low. Low. Alright, so guys,
No flinch.
Caleb was just shooting that and I was filming him, but I wasn't filming the target. And at 350 yards, every time he would hit that target, it would twist it sideways. I should have filmed it, but I didn't. Anyway, so a few things to mention here. Like I said, this gun comes in at about $750. I got this one because there was a mess up, free of shipping. So I think I paid $835 all in with taxes and fees to get it home. And it's been a really good gun. I believe that internally, outside of a few of the looks and some other things, you're getting exactly what you're getting with the Marlin and the Henry, just in the Rossi gun with, of course, the billboard on the side. Now, up until January 15th of this year, they're having what they call their high noon rebate. And so if you buy one of these up until January 15th of 2025, I believe, and you fill out a bunch of paperwork and send it in through the mail, it's kind of a process. Rossi will send you, or that whoever's in charge down there will send you a free Heritage Rough Rider. So that's about a $150 gun. So in all, after I sent my paperwork and everything in, we'll see how it works. If I get the pistol in here, I'll do a review on it. Could take 6 to 12 weeks from what I hear. But if I'd wind up getting the pistol and everything works out, then I got this gun for $600, which is less than half the cost of a gun just like this from Marlin, or well, Henry's a little cheaper, but especially from Marlin. I'm not bashing the Ruger-made Marlin in any way, shape, or form. I would love to have one, but with the prices starting at around $1,500 and being hard to find at that, I think that for $750, and if you get the rebate for the other pistol, even less, this is an excellent deal. This gun is shooting lights out. We shot a target the other day, and we made a sub 2-inch group offhand standing with these fairly hard recoiling rounds. They're not super hard. You can load these things up, these 450 grain bullets, up to 1,700 feet per second. Squeeze that extra 150 feet per second out of them if you wanted to. But something I have noticed for stopping rifles is you start losing penetration once you get past 1,600 feet. Seems like, and I don't know if I can prove this, But it seems like once you get past 1600 feet per second, you start dumping the energy on the impact and less of it's carrying through the animal itself. Now these are hard cast bullets. They're made from the Lee 457 450 grain mold. Now normally, and I've actually heard this from a lot of people, you cannot shoot these accurately out of a lot of lever action 4570s because a cast lead bullet needs to be 1 to 2 thousandths bigger than the bore diameter, and these guns usually have a 458 bore diameter, and these Lee bullets usually cast 457, which to me makes no sense. Now these are generally bullets you would use in a 458 Win Mag or something like that because they're so long, they take up a lot of case room. And obviously you can get bullets that are 300, 325 grains moving upwards of 2,000 feet per second, but adding the weight is what I like. I like the heavier bullet. If I was looking for a flat trajectory deer round, I would just be shooting the Hornady Lever Evolution 325 flex tips. Those guns, those bullets, I've shot them in a lot of 4570s, have a lot flatter trajectory and will work just fine on deer. Like I said, this is a stopping rifle, not necessarily my deer rifle. I have other guns for that. This is a big, heavy bullet moving at a pretty good clip of speed. Now, this bullet that I'm casting is out of wheel weights with a little bit of Babbitt, bringing this up, once it's water quenched, up to about a 16 BHN, which means this is really hard. It's not hardly going to deform at all. And then the only way to make it shoot in this rifle is to make it bigger than 457. You can do that by lapping out your mold, or you can do what I did and just powder coat it 2 or 3 times and bring it way up above 460. Then I size it back down to 460, and I have 2 thousandths over the bore diameter, which makes this rifle shoot like a dream. It shoots excellently. All right, guys, that's all I have for the Rossi R95 in 4570, 20-inch barrel. A lot of gun for, like I said, a very low price. As always, trust in God, keep the powder dry. Bye. I didn't mean to make it shoot that good of a group. Looks like a cannonball went through that piece of steel.